Drake here with Working Dragon Mystic. Today we want to discuss something that I think is pretty important. And it's something I've been getting a lot of emails, questions, and comments on. And to be fair, amongst my colleagues and everyone, this is something that we've discussed a time or two. Um, True, largely inspired by you all, my viewers. So, what is that? And that is Gnosis. Now, Gnosis is known as insight or wisdom in which we gain through our path, our practice, or our workings, through meditation, journey work, all these things, information that is given to us through entities. And otherwise, really can't be proven. Um, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Now, there is called what's verified gnosis, where other people will verify what you may have found one way or the other, those kinds of things. But here's the kicker. We've gotten into the point where a lot of people this day and age, gnosis is law. That's a bad place to be. Bad place to be. Oh, coffee's good though. I would actually say it is far more important that you be willing to let your gnosis be wrong. And I have a reason for this. Gnosis is an important part of our path. It is. But when people start placing gnosis in some kind of sacred dogma, like I received this, this is my personal individual truth. And, I don't care if my gnosis says the sky is blue, I don't care how many facts you have that says this, or gnosis says the sky is green. I don't know how many facts you care. You say the sky is blue, it's not. Or my gnosis proves the earth is flat. We do see a lot of this in the community these days, which is, to me, at the very least, disturbing. And there's that. That is the extreme side of it. But the side that worries me more is an unwillingness to learn and grow. If all you do is receive your gnosis and that's it, that's what your whole practice, that's it, that's it, that's it. And no new information is ever allowed to make you look at that, make you consider that, make you ponder that, and consider that maybe that gnosis was accurate for you at that time for a reason, and maybe you've outgrown that. Then you run a very real risk of getting to the point where you stop growing, you stop learning, you just stagnate. And I've honestly encountered a lot of magical practitioners and spiritualists where this is actually the case. And I I'm not going to say, you have to be, but I do think it's important we are willing to allow it to, because we have to be willing to be wrong in order to grow. We have to be willing to see things from a new point. And if we allow our gnosis to become a dogmatic rule of law that is unchanging, unshifting, unwavering, in a way where we cease to listen, we cease to consider, we will cease to grow. And that is the problem. That is the danger. Um, in fact, one of my constant sayings is, I love to be wrong. And it is true. I do enjoy to be wrong, because that is an opening and an opportunity for me to learn and grow and change and become a better version of me. Um, and to me, that is what a willingness to for my gnosis to be wrong is. Now, there have been several things throughout my magical career where I had certain things that people would refer to as gnosis, which I'll admit back then they were calling it gnosis. So I was calling it gnosis too. It took me a while to actually, you know, what the crap are you talking about? And they told me. So raise your hand, people, ask questions, it's important. So one of those things, I actually talked about in another video was how I viewed entities. It was my gnosis that entities were just parts of us, psychological things. They weren't real, they weren't external. Um, and that gnosis helped me greatly in a lot of healing and a lot of movement and progression forward. But something happened. As I worked more and more with entities and I started realizing and keeping notes, I realized there's stuff these entities are telling me I don't know. I'm not this smart. My subconscious ain't this smart. I've never heard this crap. And that is why my gnosis shifted from entities being subconscious to being real external. Now, if you watch that video about our entities, subconscious or external, or I think it's subconscious or real, I forget how I titled it. You will also see in that video, I conclude that at the end of the day, if your results are manifesting, does it really matter? Not really, not in that particular thing. But my gnosis, in my opinion, did change. Then we look at the planes in the multiverse. Now, there's always a debate on what plane is where and this and that, and what planes there are and what planes there aren't. And that is probably an eternal debate philosophically that magicians will just go round and around and around and around on. And because of that, I know at least 2 different planar maps in my grimoire alone. And I have notes and notes and notes and notes on other people's thoughts and opinions and gnosis. And they don't all line up. Does that matter? Not really. We are getting results. We are constantly changing. And my map of the multiverse, it's what I call a fluid changing map. Because just because I currently think, believe, and have reason to place a certain plane on that map in this location does not mean it will forever be there. That is not hard law. It is theory. It is ideal. It's gnosis. I actually view gnosis very, very similar to the word theory or hypothesis because I can't prove it. It's not something that's driven hard into fact. In fact, if I find something, for example, in Gnosis and I get information, and then I later can scientifically, objectively prove it, not just to me, but to other people over and over, I no longer view that as Gnosis. I view that as fact. It's proven. And that's just my window on the world. That's how I take it. That way. Not everybody would do that. Everybody would still, some people would still call it gnosis. They just say it was backed up and proven and confirmed by these things. And so it's a confirmed gnosis. And I get that. My separation is my own. But the point is, we have to be willing to let it be wrong. Because the number of times that a magician has done a divination or set out to gain information, and due to their desires, due to their wants, due to their desperation for specific outcomes, they don't clearly receive the information. They taint the information and they basically give themselves the answer they want. That it's uncountable how often that happens. We all do it at one time or another. That's why I never truly just take anything as gospel, even my own divinations. I look at it and I always look at it with skepticism and the possibility that it's going to be wrong. Or, especially in the case of divinations, that stuff can shift and change almost instantaneously. So I always keep a wariness of that. And especially with gnosis, I keep that wariness. I always keep that mindfulness. And I always keep looking forward. But we have to be willing to be wrong. This also allows for us not only to have discussions with entities and constantly ponder and meditate and consider what reality is, our place in it, our path forward to whatever it is we're seeking in our life, whether it be a scent or what, but it also allows us to sit down and have a discussion, a discourse, a ability to have conversations with other magicians, practitioners, or non-practitioners who don't view the universe the same way we do. They have a different view. They have a different ideal, and that's fine. My ideals do not largely line up with most people who would call themselves spiritualist or religious. Does that make me better than them? Nope. Does that make them better than me? Nope. Does that mean we have different views? Yes. Is that okay? Absolutely. I know so many people with absolutely different views on things than mine. My gnosis and my findings and my experiences brought me to mine. Their experiences have brought them to theirs. Perhaps their faith has brought them to theirs. That's not a bad thing. Faith is not a dirty word, people. Even here on Working Dragon Mystic, it's not a dirty word. Do I consider myself a faithless son of a bitch? Yes, I do. I don't have faith in at least my definition of what faith would be. I don't have it. I feel I'm incapable of it. And that's a philosophical discussion for another time, perhaps. But even here on Working Dragon Mystic, we don't use faith as a dirty word. We use it as a path, an ideal. I know a lot of people who are dearly, dearly precious to me, and they are religious, and their faith serves them amazingly well. They have held to their faith in the darkest and worst of times, and it uplifted them. It gave them joy. It gave them hope, and it was amazing. Um, we've even discussed faith and magic here a time or two. Maybe I'll do a whole video on it. It's an area of magic I can't personally tap into well because it requires faith. But that is their view. That is their window of the world. That is their gnosis. And that's okay. Now, where does it become a problem? Where is gnosis a problem other than the areas we've discussed? The problem is when you try to cram it down someone's throat, when you are literally shoving and forcing your views, your gnosis onto another person. Now, on this channel, I've said it many times. I will teach and I will give information to the best of my ability and deliver it in the most reliable way that I have come to find. Does that make what I have come to find hard law the one true path? Oh, heck no. Heck no. There's a lot of people out there who are doing a lot of things and getting a lot of wonderful results. And, that's fine. There are certain things I'm very much against. You all know that, like, spiritual healers and telling people to forego modern medicine, dangerous things that have gotten people very, very hurt. And I've expressed my reasons for that in live streams from time to time. But an individual is allowed to pursue, and they are allowed to find, and they are allowed to seek. And if they disagree with me, okay, you disagree with me. It does nothing for me one way or the other. My hope, whether you agree or disagree with me, my hope is that your gnosis, your path leads you to the life and the self-mastery you want. That's it. That's my hope for everyone. And for us to really, really, truly get to that point, we do have to be willing to be wrong. And that includes our willingness to let our gnosis be wrong. Do not become a slave to your gnosis. Okay? Don't. Do not become bound to your gnosis. Do not become held down and limited by the dogma of your own gnosis. Okay, please. I know this is a weird video for what I normally do, but this is a topic that's been come up because I have had plenty of people email me. It's like, well, Drake, my gnosis a few months ago was this, and it really helped me get through what I was going through. But now I'm facing a new problem with my life, and I was given this gnosis, which it is helping me get through what I'm doing. It's working. It's manifesting the results, but I've also, looking back at my journal, now realized the two things conflict. They don't seem to be able to be true at the same time. Look at the laws of magic. It talks about paradoxes in there. It talks about law of true falsehoods. There are times your gnosis will cancel out another gnosis. That's called progress. That's called moving forward. And we exist at a point in time where our gnosis honestly really deals with who you are in the moment, not always. And that is often a really, really important takeaway. And that is, again, why here at Working Dragon Mystic, we focus so much on results and manifestation as opposed to how you got there. Um, I mean, if I'm heading to Florida, I don't care if you take I-40 or I-75. If you get into where you're going, get there. Just have fun doing it. Don't let your pride and ego or your prior gnosis get in the way. All right. Hope this has helped. If you'd like me to revisit this or you have questions, drop them below. Let me know. If you're new to the channel and you like occult topics or just the mad ramblings of a redneck, hit subscribe and turn on that bell icon notification so you get notified anytime we release a new video or go live. We usually do live streams every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you there sometime. And until next time, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Goodbye.